Hey everyone, Pupsker here, and today in Warframe, believe it or not, we are going over the top 10 primary weapons for the past 2 years, essentially. You may know some of these, you may not, maybe you use them, maybe you don't, but chances are you have 100% played with a group of people who use a handful of these weapons. So, without further ado, let's take a look. And if you like the video or if it helps, sub, like, favorite, check out my Twitch, Twitter, use Epic Game Store creator code Pupsker. You know, I'm on everything, so thank you. That's right, in 10th place for weapon primaries, we have the Fullman. Inherently electric, 2 fire modes. Let's take a quick look at the base stats of this weapon, okay? As you can see, it's a pretty decent crit weapon, good enough magazine, right? There's no real ammo pickup because it just recharges, so that's good to know. It's good to know. Does it have a recharge rate? No, I don't see it there. Anyways, those are the numbers. 500 damage, not bad, not bad. 400 is electric with those crit stats. Okay, not bad. You can throw it on to auto mode. Oh boy, and that's the fire rate, right? That's how it all works. And then that's how the damage goes. The crit multiplier, I think, went up and the crit chance went down. Yeah, that's how that went. So those are the numbers. The auto is naturally going to be less than the burst fire, but we'll take a look. If you're curious what build I have, right, galvanized chamber, prime trap, yeah, not bad, not bad. Definitely not a most optimized build, it just kind of memely threw it on. But let's see how it works. So, this is it in semi-auto mode. As you can see, it's a somewhat competent auto shotty that can go through people. And it recharges, you have it more, does more damage. Again, my build's not perfect, but that's how it handles the like level 185 corrupted bombards with a non-optimal build. What do I have? Viral. Yeah, because I have viral on right now, so it's not going to be optimal. But if we throw it over to the secondary mode, you see it takes off the top of it and it holds it kind of like that. And then it goes into auto fire mode. You have a better chance at killing individual enemies like that, because I'm actually shooting at the head, but I believe overall the semi-auto mode is what is preferred in this weapon. Use it however you like. Obviously, I would need to get some good arcane kills, you know, primer kills. I would need to remod this properly with like galvanized mods because that mod setup is not up to date and I do not like it, but that's how the general Fullman works as a weapon, and since it is obviously inherently electric, it's really strong. It's just naturally viral will not do ideal against corrupted bombards, but hey, it is an electric weapon with good stats, good crit overall, so that's why the Fullman is ranked top 10 most popular weapons. You know, people loved using the Fullman, but that's is what it is. In 9th place, we have the Proboscis Cernos. Surprisingly, I didn't expect this. I didn't know it was so popular, to be fair, but I understand why. The Proboscis Cernos has a shtick with it where the arrow lands and it has an AoE that pulls enemies in. So it's built-in CC, explosion type CC. If we look at it, it's a beautiful weapon overall. I don't have a good build for it, so ignore that if you want. Prime Firestorm is on it for the blast radius. That's all I've really built for it because it's, you know, AoE CC bow, right? Whatever stats, but overall it's good for status. It's not a crit weapon clearly, but does damage, right? Status weapon. Here you'll see the radial attack. Without Prime Firestorm, it goes down to a range of 7. With Prime Firestorm, almost maxed out. Yeah, it'll go up to 9.8, then 10 if you have it maxed out. And the damage overall is still good, so hey, let's take this bad boy out and see how well it works. You'll love it, let me tell you. If I just shoot right here, you'll see it pulls in all of the enemies and it does damage. It does a little AoE explosion. Even with the non-optimal damage type that I'm running here, you can see that the enemies just get absolutely destroyed. And that's like with my damage being, let's be real, absolutely dog with this current build. And that is no problem at all. So it's built-in CC explosion damage. You don't even need Prime Firestorm, but you can use Prime Firestorm. The issue is the Proboscis Cernos got hit really hard with the AoE nerf, so you do need some sort of ammo mutation as it only holds 7 arrows at once. With a proper build, each arrow will just annihilate enemies, so it's not actually a huge issue, don't get me wrong. But you might need some more loot. Well, more ammo, pickup, stuff like that. So keep that in mind. Great weapon, really strong, and hopefully you can see why it's top number 9 for the top 10s list, because people love AoE, and most of the top 10 weapons are going to be pure AoE weapons. So yeah, on to number 8. That's right, number 8, top 10 is the Cedo itself. Now, this is actually a really good weapon for 2 reasons. It has a full auto fire mode that you just always use. It's strong, it's good, that's great. But it has a secondary fire that you can also use alongside the primary that shoots out glaives and pretty much just applies status and does some damage. So it's a shotgun, and this is my general build on it. A little updated, yeah, could be better, could be worse, but this will destroy everything in the game, no problem, pretty easily. It has, as you can see, insane crit multipliers and crit chance, with the status per projectile being incredibly low because this is a shotgun. So that's kind of how they do, with the damage being overall good enough, right? But you'll see the secondary here, the semi-auto, oh my. It does even more. Has some damage here. There's a radial attack there. It's amazing. It's OP, right? Primary fire, precision buckshot. Damage increases with each status effect afflicting a target. Yeah, so that is the kind of built-in primary condition overload there. Lavos will transmute a small portion of any ammo pickups to shotgun ammo because this is Lavos's weapon when wielding his signature Cedo. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind. More statuses on enemies, more damage, because the Cedo is stupidly good, right? And the radial attack, also stupidly good. So let's take a look at how this is gonna hold up against a lot of the enemies. So this is the secondary fire. It shoots out glaives that just go out and apply status and then come back to the Cedo. When it comes back, you can shoot again. This is the primary fire. It's just a strong shotgun. You hit them in the head, they're essentially one shot and dead. Once you get some statuses on them, since it has that condition overload built in, it's ridiculous. And with arcanes and all of the damage in Warframe now that relies on you to prime, aka get like a handful of kills first, oh, it's just so good. So shoot out that to get more status on them, and then shoot them with your primary attack to just straight up kill them. That's what I would recommend, and that's how everyone uses the Cedo. So without a doubt, makes sense that the Cedo is top 8 in the like top 10 list, because it's just so ridiculously good and strong. So ta-da, OP. Top 7 in the top 10 list is the Kuva Ogress. A lot of Kuva weapons gained popularity once they were released because they're ridiculously strong, have built-in status, and AoE is also really good. So if we look at it here, the numbers on this with my modding is pretty insane. It's not a perfect build, don't get me wrong, okay? But it's still going to do a lot of damage. Plus, I have a Riven with multi-shot cold and fire rate on it. I have Nightwatch Napalm for more fire damage everywhere, right? Have some viral heat. It's inherent impact puncture. Look at that. Look at that. I may have actually got impact from the Kuva Lich. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember the exact thing I got on them. Was it heat? Maybe I got heat on that. No, or maybe it's inherent. All over the place. So it's a good weapon. And as you can see on the radial attack, you can get that to an insanely high number. It's so fucking strong. Okay. This is not a weapon to be messed with. Clearly a crit status, or sorry, not crit status weapon. So let's take a look to see how the Kuva Ogress handles these lovely corrupted bombards. As you can see in the bottom right, the ammo is 3 out of 7, so it was heavily affected by the AoE nerf, and that's not too surprising when you see it do stuff like that, right? Since I have Nightwatch Napalm on, it's just gonna burn them more. And with an optimal build, they would die faster, but yeah, that's just kind of how that goes right there. The radial attack and the Nightwatch Napalm absolutely destroys them. Ah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Always mod towards what you need, but corrupted bombards still melt like butter when shooting them with a weapon like this. So you can just shoot them each in the front row. They all start dying off. Even with arcanes and galvanized mods building up, yeah, you're gonna have no problem killing them really early on. Even with like a crappy Kuva Ogress, like a bad element like mine probably has, like impact. I have way too many weapons, Kuva antenna weapons that are impact because I was using, I think it was Protea the entire time. Even with crappy statuses like that, still an insane weapon. So that's why the Kuva Ogress was the top 7 for the past couple of years. For our top number 6 weapon, we have the Shedu. That is right, this sentient arm cannon, insanely good. Features an ammo-less quick charge capacitor. Ooh, emits a knockback pulse and strips sentient damage resistance when fully charged. If you ever want a little TLDR, you can always look up the weapon here, but Shedu was a top 6 primary, surprisingly, the past couple of years. Didn't expect that myself. This is my general build on it. It'll kill everything, no problem. It's strong with a Riven like that, no shock there. Status crit. I would say that's a little borked in a good way. As you can see, with good modding, you get insane stats on it. With Rivens, you always get ridiculous stuff, but good damage overall. I have it on Viral Heat if you want to properly kill other enemies. Swap it around, of course. But as you can see, with the radial damage being that, the primary damage being that, it's pretty strong, okay? It has 7 magazine, could have more, and I could also build it a little differently, but 100 Moo there, yeah. What have you. We'll take a look and see how this bad boy operates. So, as you can see, we'll try off the primary fire first. Not too shabby, right? Not too shabby. Once you use all 7 of your shots, you'll see that little emit AoE right there. If I had a better build, it would kill these bad boys a lot faster. The Shedu doesn't have a secondary fire, though. It only has a primary fire. Get some status built up, kill all the enemies really quickly. You can see why it's a really popular weapon. It's one of the weapons you can actually build increase like magazine size, and it would work pretty well because it does only have 7 shots, but it does a lot of damage still. So hey, it's not actually too bad. I think this gun was probably fallen out of popularity over the past handful of years, but surprisingly, it was still really popular. But I think maybe in like the latest trends of guns, maybe it's less popular, but hey, we'll have to see once we get an updated list. Everyone, in 5th place, we have the Rubico Prime for, of course, good reason. This weapon is a really strong, really good bossing, high damage, one-shot type sniper rifle. If you throw on just regular mods and a galvanized chamber with primary merciless, you'll see the stats on it are really insane. It has a lot of ammo overall too, so you're not going to run into any issues there. But the damage you can get off in one shot is crazy. I have a 3,000 damage total, 114 crit chance, 6.6 multiplier. Look at that. I have random mods on, not even a perfect build by any means. It has some decent multi-shot, but it's gonna still shred through enemies. Now, the Rubico Prime's been very popular for bossing, like Eidolons, Exploiter Orb, and I think just bosses in general. You can have no problem using this in regular gameplay, right? Even though it's a sniper, you can still just punch through a bunch of enemies if you want to build it that way, but it's up to you. That's the Rubico Prime, and it's insanely strong. So if I spawn up some of these corrupted bombards and I just chill from here, we'll see they'll die really easily. Look at the crit chance there, 2.5 with a 35% crit damage multiplier. So when it goes up to 5 times amplification of like the zoom, it goes up to 50% crit damage. So 2.5 zoom, 35% crit damage increase, 5 times zoom, 50% increase crit damage, right? Then you just see this, boop, they just kind of die. No one's gonna survive. It has some punch through. You're just hitting heads, no problem. Goodbye. Going through, hitting them. So they're gonna die no problem. Even if like zoomed out a little less, you can just kill through everyone. So snipers like the Rubico Prime are ridiculous because they do a lot of damage. And they can just one-shot everything, so. Makes sense why this is the most popular sniper rifle probably in the top 5 position, because it just destroys everything. With more punch through, it kills everything even faster. You're never going to have any problems using a gun like this. So Rubico Prime, number 5 in the top 10 list. In 4th place in the top 10 list, we have the Kuva Tsar. It's a Kuva weapon, so it gets even more status. It's an AoE weapon, so it kills everything instantly. What isn't there to love? As you can see, the damage numbers on the radial attack are friggin' ridiculous, even with my crappy probably impact status on it. And the damage per projectile still, with the crit chance like that, insane. So my general build is this, nothing too amazing, nothing too shocking. Normal damage, hunter munitions slash, right? Good damage overall. But look at that. The status per projectile could be higher, but the crit is just so insanely high that, yeah, you're probably not going to want to be on the receiving end of a Kuva Tsar. We spawn up some enemies quickly. We'll see. They won't last too long. It also, I should mention, has a secondary fire mode, which is Barrage. That's what those other numbers are for. So I'll use that first just so we can show you. Like, look at that. It's like a shotgun blast. It'll go through some enemies, hit them in the head. You're going to kill them. It's a strong weapon if you don't want to use the AoE of it, but people love it for the AoE of it. You build the cannon each one by one, and then, like, look at that. Without an optimal build, it doesn't matter because everything is destroyed. So if you use this weapon, you might want to have some sort of ammo efficiency on your companion or the weapon itself, but, I mean, it's going to kill everything anyways, so you're not in a huge rush. Just make sure you pick up ammo and you have enough ammo, because my god, is this thing an ammo hog since the AoE nerf of 2022. My god, we'll never forget that. But it kills corrupted bombards, no problem. No shock there. 10 out of 10. Would murder again. In third place, everyone, we have the Kuva Brahma. This has been the most popular bow for a long time now, ever since this came out, essentially, right? This has been the go-to bow because it was insane AoE damage bow. Look at the radial attack. The range is 8.3 inherently, and the damage is 1,000. And that's really freaking good. Since it's a Kuva weapon, it has an added on element, but since it has been kinda nerfed, it's not as good as it used to be, because the ammo efficiency, it's just not quite there. I'm just going to throw that on right now for the memes, don't worry about it. But it is still really strong. AoE explosive gun, you can throw on stuff like Prime Firestorm if you wanted to have even more AoE, so yeah, it's ridiculous. Would recommend 10 out of 10. Spawn up some enemies, even with like a non-optimal build. We can see my damage. It's probably going to be decent enough. Oh no, I need to actually hit the enemies and account for like the fallout. Okay, my damage is pretty shit with my bad build, but that's okay. Oh yeah, because I have like a magnetic build on. I have the antithesis of what the corrupted bombards are taking as damage. So that's just like sad. So if I'd wanted to swap around a build, like just take out like Malignant Force and throw on, let's say, high voltage. Now, hey, it'll do some radiation damage, so it should actually get some kills off. I just had like the antithesis. The damage isn't going to be ridiculous with my build though, because I don't have a great build on it, but as you can see, it's not terrible. The reason people really love it is because if you have a proper build on, a good build on, the reason is the AoE is so good because of all those little grenades that jump out. So you just pretty much hit everything and go around killing everything. But yeah, my damage build is less optimal. So sad, so sad. But that's the idea. You might not have the most insane build-up damage from like one shot, but you mod it properly, you throw on good stuff. All of the AoE and the little flak AoEs just kind of spit out to the sides and hit everyone. It's because I have like a big status on that one instead of like the status crit chance on that one, but build it well and build it nice, and you should do a lot of damage. You don't really need things like speed trigger. You should probably just go straight up damage, but that's my goofy build that I have on for now. Nothing too great because I didn't really use the Kuva Brahma past leveling it, but I had a couple mods, some of these, so that is what it is. For second place of top primary weapons, it is the Exceltra. Oh, another AoE weapon. It's almost like all the top 10s are almost insanely good AoE weapons, other than like one or two things. But number 2, most popular, is the Exceltra. And you can see the stats like that and just be like, oh shit, it's a really high crit gun. And you can understand. But hey, the default damage is pretty bad at 26 and it is inherently impact, so this will probably get beat out later on in the next coming years. But it is still insanely strong. You can throw on a good general build like this, really strong, really good, take off Prime Shred if you don't like it with something else, take off the Riven mod for something else, but I have an insanely good Riven mod, so why would I do that? The damage on it might not be the highest because it's just inherently low at 26, but it's still really good running most of the star chart. It'll just definitely start falling off more around Steel Path, or if some of the enemies don't match the elements, right? Because like Viral / Puncture, it's not going to do a ton against Corrupted Bombards, but it's still really good. You'll see I can still just tear through them. They're getting so many status effects through the Hunter munitions and through my AoE damage that it doesn't actually matter. So even with mismatched everything, it's still destroying these like level 180 Corrupted Bombards, even if they're a little damaged earlier. Yeah, so this is better performance than like something like the Kuva Brahma, because I had a shittier build on the Kuva Brahma, don't get me wrong. But the Exceltra is just so good to use because it's high crit, high damage, and it's easy to build for because you can build it however you feel like it. All it needs really is multi-shot and damage. You don't need Hunter munitions or anything like that. That's just because I like having more slash status and I have viral on it, but throw on other elements, throw on other things, it'll kill everything, no problem. And this is like my personal most used favorite gun, so hey, I understand why it was number 2 most used. So love it, hate it, let me know. I love the Exceltra, so mwah, beautiful. Now everyone, we're going over to the number 1 most used weapon for the past handful of years. If you know what it is, you know what it is. If you don't know, you don't know. But let's take a look. That's right, it's the Ignis Wraith, everyone. The literal flamethrower gun is the most popular gun because it's so easy to use, noob friendly, can get it early on in the game, and it kills everything no problem. With a build like this, you're destroying things even without caring, and it's gonna be magnificent. You are the primed flamethrower, the Wraith flamethrower. This is a primed weapon without being a primed weapon, since it's a Wraith weapon, right? Look at the status on that. This crit and the status, overall, it's not insanely high, right? The status is at 29, don't get me wrong. But, oh my god, you can... No, there it is. The status is still pretty good at 29, don't get me wrong, right? It's really good. But you don't need to build only status. You want to build everything. You want to kill everything. You could definitely swap out a lot of stuff. Like, my build's not perfect. Instead of private cryo round, you could throw on one of the like 60/60 mods. Throwing on at least one of those would be really good. But for now, this is my build, right? Instead of just Malignant Force, you can swap out that. But this is how I like to build a gun for now. It's for damage and it's for status. No matter what, you're gonna annihilate everything. Always have multi-shot, of course, like Galvanized Chamber. So eventually you're just spewing out 3 beams of flame. This gun is so fucking good for good reason. It's because it'll just kill every single enemy out there. And you won't even have to pay attention. Warframe has gone to a more AoE, AFK, don't pay attention style of gameplay. So let's take a look and just kill everyone. With my general setup, even without the Sly Vulpaphyla, armor stripping everyone, making them die instantly to viral, you can see it just status spreads and kills everything, slowly burning them. These aren't even the optimal type of enemies, right? If you build viral for everything, you'd more want an armor strip setup that would kill them instantly, but oh my god, even without optimal builds, everything always dies. That's what you need to know about the Ignis Wraith. If I threw on health enemies, they would die so fast it wouldn't even like count. It would just be cheating. Now that this thing's ramped up all of its damage, I just slowly walk out through them and they all die. That's the thing you always have to realize now. You have to amp up damage on weapons through the arcanes, through galvanized mods. So the first kill you get to the 5th, 10th, 12th kill will increase your damage for a little bit. So you look in the top right, the buffs are slowly going away. And that's just how weapons go now. But those are the top 10 primary weapons in the game, with the top one being the Ignis Wraith. So let me know your opinion on that. They are all really good, really strong weapons for one reason or another, as long as you build it properly. Some of my gun builds are kind of garbage and like memed around, so I wouldn't take them too seriously all the time. But hey, it is what it is. Especially that Kuva Braum. I could have built that thing so much better with proper elements on it. But hey, when you have all your impact type Kuva weapons, you don't really seem to give a shit too much. So hey, it is what it is. Thank you all for watching. I do appreciate it. Sub, like, check out YouTube, Twitch, or any of the social medias. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Oh, I'm a sick TikTok star, obviously, now. Wait. Either way, thank you. Got Epic Games creator code Pupsker, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.